Multitudes of pensioners affected by Postbank's payment glitches say they have lost complete faith in Sassa. The queues of pensioners at Sassa's local offices across the country are getting shorter, but beneficiaries are still unhappy. Many of them have now decided to turn their backs on Sassa's Postbank payment system, opting rather to have their grants paid into their personal banking accounts. Some say they are now visiting Sassa is to collect consent forms to open a personal banking account to move away from Postbank. They say they are struggling to get food and other basic necessities, and their funds are continued to be depleted every time they try to make a withdrawal. The Social Services Agency has indicated that more than 95% of beneficiaries have now been paid. It says it will continue to provide updates on the issue. For more on this conversation, we're now joined by Alfred Moyo, who is he's a coordinator from PayTheGrants Organization. Alfred, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Of course, we've seen numerous press briefings there, one in particular being the one by the Minister of Communications just yesterday, Mondli Ngugubele, where basically he was saying that they believe that grants have been paid up to those beneficiaries. Is this something that you accept as your organization?
As an organization, we are not actually accepting what Mondli Ngugubele was saying, because he says the errors were actually fixed and the payments were made around the 6th of this month, of which some were not paid. Even some were not actually paid up to today, as we are on the 22nd of this month. Some are already having the pay date, but on the retailers, still the money was not there. So we don't know if the error has been fixed. As he said, all of those will be paid, but we are not sure, and we don't believe that.
And Alfred, the minister, they're also saying that a lot of work is being done to ensure that, this glitch which recipients experienced this month is then not experienced come, the next round of payments. Are you confident that, the last batch of those glitches will not be experienced? Or do you think that, you've lost all faith and it seems as if, you are leaving room for disappointment there, that this may happen again?
We always have that room of disappointment, because we've been seeing this as a trend from previously. Actually, it's not a new thing. This has always been the trend. If you still remember, from the Minister Bathabile Dlamini, it's been the trend whereby the privately trusted independent providers who were allocating or distributing this grant were also declared to be unfit by the Court of Laws. So even now, those glitches, because we know that the system is actually exclusionary system, which is not a system that it is something that can be fixed, even if they try to fix some of those glitches, as they came to be fixing some of them. But it's something that is structural, that cannot be automatically fixed, because it's exclusionary by its design.
And Alfred, you also speak of that as much as we are being told that, most beneficiaries or recipients have received their Sassa grant payments, you are saying that you are aware of those who have not received these payments. How many of these people are still saying that, their grant payments are still outstanding?
We can't give the correct figure for now, because we haven't done the exact counting, because this has been said like yesterday. But as I'm speaking today, I was speaking to some of the recipients in my area, whereby some haven't yet received. Some were actually receiving some SMS confirmation that yes, the money is in. So it's something that I think, if it's been fixed, it's now starting to work or to process some of those payments. It's not to say it's something that they were already paid. There were many that will still have some outstanding payments.
And Alfred, the minister has been doing a number of interviews with various media houses, and in some of those interviews, we've even heard him saying that, as much as they are working on ensuring that recipients do indeed receive their monies, at the same time, because of the glitches being experienced with this payment method and being the service provider to Postbank, the minister also says there that they will not be changing that service provider. How does that make you feel?
That is it's a great embarrassment that coming from the minister. If you may recall, she even went as far as saying they didn't even violate anyone's rights by those kind of glitches, of which that was something that should not be uttered by the minister. I think those system will continue having those negative impact on those vulnerable communities and the marginalized, as they are already affecting even the pensioners, you see, who are supposed not to have those glitches affecting them. This is something that even during the SRD, when it was implemented on its inception, it was meant to exclude, not to add more people who are vulnerable and who are supposed to be on the system. We are seeing more people being declined than being added into the system, while the minister also taking back the money to the treasury, while the others are still hungry and while others are still being declined with unreasonable reasons.
And, when you look at this Sassa grants payment problem that we experienced this month, do you think that, government or, those at the helm are taking this very seriously to try and get to the bottom of this and to try and resolve it, to ensure that we don't have this conversation again next month where we find ourselves that, some recipients have still not been paid?
I think this conversation won't be the last conversation, and this crisis won't be the last crisis. Because now, as you can see, that this now starts to become a political game to score some political points for 2024 coming elections. Beneficiaries are the ones who are suffering at all of these games that they have been playing. We don't have any assurance that this thing won't happen next month, and there can't be any guarantees. As I said earlier, that this is not the first time, and it's not a new thing. We've been seeing and experiencing the very same similar glitches, which for them, because for them, they are speaking from the position of luxury and the position of comfort, where they are not directly facing this situation. And they are not actually speaking from the realities on the ground, whereby you can directly hear from the people who are depending on this money, who really need this money, who are sleeping on a hungry stomach. Just imagine the old pensioners who got those unnecessary deductions, which cannot be reversed. You see, and what happened? Who's going to pay them back those money? Some haven't received their full amount of full payments.
And Mr. Moyo, maybe, you talk a lot about... You talk a lot about the recipients, Mr. Moyo. Maybe if you can just give us paint a picture for us in terms of how this has actually affected those who were meant to get their payments and didn't receive it this month.
Many people, as you know, they have to get the SMS confirmations. Some do get SMS confirmations, but when they go to the retailers to collect their money is not there. So there's this information that around 80,000 people were paid. Actually, were sort of paid, but like overpaid.
Oh, okay.
Which that was for January month, not actually for this month. And those were not the exact numbers that were supposed to be actually on the system. So many that were supposed to have their money, others starting from August and September, never received their money up to so far. So those are the challenges on the ground, whereby people were expecting that on the date that were prescribed on their SMSs, that's when they will get their money.
Yeah, and
that
lastly, Mr. Moyo,
as we've seen with
And lastly, Mr. Moyo, as Pay the Grants, what would you like to see from government when it comes to those beneficiaries who didn't receive their grants?
No, for us, as we've said, that we've been actually trying to engage with the government, and we tried with all avenues. So that is why now our only option is to take them to court, whereby as Pay the Grants, we are litigating against the DSD and Sassa, against all of these failures, whereby they are failing to uphold the constitutional rights of the majority, whereby they've promised and made sure that those beneficiaries will get their money, but we know those glitches won't actually be stopped, won't be fixed permanently, as long as they are resorting or continuing using this system, which is a means testing. They will continue having those glitches.
Yeah,
so the only option that we are left to take them to court.